I can't tell you how excited I am. I am sitting here beside New York Times best-selling author Michael Hyatt. And Michael is, he is, I mean, just an amazing presence. I'm so honored to have you here in our house. So welcome, first of all. I got to tell you, there's a lot of things that are amazing about Michael Hyatt, but one of the things that to me made me say, I need to take this man's course, which is the 5 days to your best year ever, was the fact that, you know what, he's an amazing entrepreneur. He's, you know, yeah, he's had all this phenomenal success in business, but he's also a man of great faith, and he's a man who his family is so important to him, and he makes time for his family. He does all that while running this amazing organization with a small group of people, accomplishing great things. That's the kind of person I thought that I would love to have influence over myself, my business and my life. So I'm really excited.
Thank you, Susan.
So we have a group of dog owners, dog lovers, and we set goals, you know, every year as well. And so, you know, I've got people, introduced them to you, got them on board, and I said, you know, do you have questions for Michael? And they've sent me some of these questions. I have a few for myself too.
Okay.
So the first question that came in that I'm going to give them some play is, if you could say one thing that is most important when you're trying to set goals that you want to achieve, one thing, if you could narrow it down to one thing that is so important for goal setting.
I say start with abundance.
And can you share with people what?
Yeah, because I think sometimes when we think about planning, we get focused on what we don't have.
Right.
And we forget what we've already been given. And I think if you want more of what you don't have, you have to be thankful for what you've already received. And so starting from a place of abundance, to me, creates possibility about the future, because it's a reminder, in a sense, of all that I've been given. And if I've been given all these things all along, then I can have all these other things in the future too. And not just stuff, but relationships and values and character and all the rest.
That's awesome. Now, those of you guys who follow my blog, I've been writing a blog for 5 years, and I end the blog, every blog post I write with what I'm grateful for today.
Oh,
so,
awesome.
You know, I told you there's a reason I love this guy. Okay. When you set an audacious goal, and for some of us that compete in dog sports now, for me it might be a world championship, but for somebody watching, just stepping into the ring the first time or achieving a title is really a momentous occasion, and something they will goal set and lead up to it. But as you know, when you achieve some of these big audacious goals, there's a letdown afterwards. So how do you deal with it? What's the best way to overcome something like that?
Well, I remember when my book hit the New York Times bestseller list. You know, it was a goal that I had, and not all my goals are accomplished quite on schedule, but this one was. And I felt huge excitement for about 5 minutes. And then I had that letdown you're talking about.
Right.
And it just dawned on me, a reminder of the fact that where the joy is in the journey, not in the destination. So it just was a reminder that I'd crested the hill, and now there were other hills in front of me, and now I needed to go for the next big thing. So for me, it just is a matter of getting reset on another goal, something that really matters to me, so that I can get on the journey, because that's where the change is going to happen, the transformation is going to happen, the joy and the satisfaction occurs.
So even more reason for people to set goals.
Absolutely. Because,
you know, achieving a New York Times best-selling status, winning a world championship, and right away we both have the same letdown.
That's right.
Right? And it's the building up. So you know, the journey is what gives you the joy.
Yeah, it does. And I think that people that don't set goals, and this is a huge reason I do it, are not typically happy people, because they have no sense of progress. You know, they're not making a progress towards something that matters. They're just living in a comfortable life, and they think that's where they're going to get the peace and the joy, but it rarely happens there.
That's awesome. Awesome input. Okay. How do you balance? So dogs are a passion, and you yourself, I'm sure you love to golf.
I'm not very good, but I love it. Yeah.
So for some people it might be fishing, for some people it's golf. The thing with dog sports, it's a year-round thing, you might have a list of goals at the beginning of the year, but there may be some that you feel passionate about. And what can you do to try to keep yourself on an even keel so that you don't just keep gravitating to everything about your passion? And then at the end of the year, you look at all the things that you wanted to, you know, to build and become better at, and you found that you just focused on that one.
So in other words, you do the dog-related ones, but you don't do the rest of your life?
Yeah.
For me, it really is about getting connected with the why. You know, usually when we're not achieving a goal in a certain area, we forget about it or we lose visibility or it goes by the wayside. It's because we really haven't identified why that's important to us. What's at stake in particular. So for example, one goal that usually goes by the wayside by about January the 31st is health-related goals. People start out at the gym, you know, they're all excited, they're working out, but by January the 31st, it's gotten kind of boring and they don't want to do it and they give up. Well, they don't have a why identified. If they've identified a why there, like they want to be as energetic as they can to participate in dog sports, or they want to live as long as they can so they can enjoy their dogs and their fellow dog people, you know, those kind of whys are important. So I say identify the why in every goal and make sure that it stays present to you throughout the year.
Brilliant. Thank you. Okay, so I laughed when I read this one. How do you make a goal both realistic and exciting? Because I keep getting stuck on absurd and exciting, or realistic and stupefyingly boring.
Yeah. Well, all I can tell you is that I have this framework as I think about goals and about whether it's you know, realistic or whether it's too big or not. You know, it's an art. Let's say. I mean, there have been goals that, in retrospect, were too small,
right?
And goals that I must have been drunk when I set them because you know they're just so massively big. But you don't really know until you get into it. But here's how I look at it: when I'm setting a goal, I want to be in what I call the discomfort zone. Now, so I think of it as 3 zones.
Right.
So zone 1 is the comfort zone.
We all know where that is.
That's where you feel comfortable, confident, and clear.
Okay.
Okay? Then you go to the discomfort zone, where you feel fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Where people don't want to go.
Where people don't want to go. But I see those not as negative things, but as positive indicators that I'm in the place where I'm going to be stretched. This is where all the juice is. This is where the answers to your prayer are. This is where change occurs. This is where you realize what you've longed for all these years. Now, the delusional zone, zone 3, is the realm where you feel panic, terror, you know, all those things. So I like to move right up to the delusional zone and then just dial it back a few clicks. So I want to be in the discomfort zone. If I'm not feeling discomfort, then it's just not worth pursuing. I'm not going to be excited enough to continue.
And how, every year when you set goals, how many of those goals that you've set do you have to, some point through the year, abandon thinking that it was a you know, uncomfortable zone, but it really was delusional?
Well, by this point, because I've done it so many years, it's rare, but it still happens.
Okay.
But I think sometimes people aren't aware of their options when they get stuck. So let's say you're halfway through the year and now it looks like the goal you thought was just in your discomfort zone is now delusional. You know, you're not going to achieve it. You really actually got 3 options. One is that you can recommit to the goal. And sometimes I've done that where I said, you know, I lost energy, I lost focus, whatever. I'm going to recommit and really go for this. So recommitting to the goal is one. Another one is to revise the goal. You know, that goal may have made sense at the first of the year, but now you realize that it was too aggressive or it wasn't aggressive enough. And so now you just adjust the metric up or down and get a more realistic goal that's still in your discomfort zone, but is more realistic, informed by everything you've gone through. And then the third option is just to remove it. You just say, you know what, that goal is no longer relevant. I remember years ago when my company was in the process of buying another company, we had it on our goal list for the coming year. But as we got into the due diligence and explored more about that new company, we realized, oh, that's not so attractive as we thought. So what happened to that goal? We just removed it. You know, we redeployed the resources and the energy and everything that we had around that goal to other goals that still made sense. So recommit, revise, or remove. Those are the 3 options.
Perfect. Now, you've advised us that really 7 to 10 goals is a great place to aim. And for people like myself, the overachievers, who couldn't imagine narrowing it down to 7 to 10 goals, is there a good way? Is it just, well, I'm really, you know, if it was just the things I'm excited about, then wouldn't my boat might be a little lopsided?
It could be, and that's why I think you've got to evaluate it against all these major areas of your life and make sure, you know, that there's a goal in there that pertains to your health or your intellectual life or your friendships or whatever. But the key is it's only 7 to 10 at any one time. So for people that are overachievers, like you can go ahead and tick those off and add new goals. It's like you earn new bonus points.
It actually is motivation to get the goal accomplished.
Because then you get on to that other thing you also want to accomplish.
That's a touchdown.
Yes.
Okay, so dogs do what's reinforcing. Actually, all animals do. And I think people do the same. So how do we stop reinforcing mediocre when we want to live a life of passion?
I want to actually turn this on you. I don't understand a lot about this reinforcing thing that you've been talking about, but I think it's fascinating. So what do you think?
Oh, okay.
Can I do that?
Geez, sure you can.
Okay.
Yeah, you can start interviewing me too.
Good, okay.
So I think it goes back to the why. How do you stop reinforcing the mediocre? Then you haven't put the real why of what you want in your life and how you want to live your life and how you see starting 216. What are the things? What are you bringing into 216 that you had in 215? And you're not going to get there if you keep reinforcing the mediocre, because that's the comfort zone.
Well, that's what's at stake.
Right.
And that's what I talk about in the course about motivations, but really getting clear on what's at stake. And there's usually a lot at stake. The problem is that life occurs to us daily, and we don't realize that our eating habits are incrementally, steadily leading us toward a heart attack, for example, or towards some kind of medical crisis that's going to cascade into the rest of our life. And so I think getting clear on what's at stake can help us overcome that mediocrity now and make a difference.
Brilliant. You know, I see with people with their dogs, the number one thing that prevents them from accomplishing is their limiting beliefs. And that they have decided that they aren't the type, the age, the whatever, the skill to achieve. And dog training is just an example. It could be anything. But when you've interviewed some of the highest achievers in the world, and there's not a common cloth there, is there?
No, there's not. They can be really, really different. I mean, you take a guy like Tony Robbins versus Bill Gates versus Steve Jobs. You know, those are all such different individuals, wired up differently, and yet they all achieve.
Right, and so, and the common denominator there is their ability to let go of limiting beliefs.
Yes.
And have you found any high achiever yet that doesn't set goals?
No.
So
None.
everybody
really
you've
don't.
asked.
Yeah, I mean, occasionally you'll find somebody that's enormously talented that just is like an idiot savant or something and really does well at something. But most of the people that accomplish anything are disciplined, they have goals, they work towards them every year.
Awesome. And you know, the word discipline, one of the things that I've discovered for me personally is I don't think I'm a person of discipline, but I'm a person of game. And so I can take something and I can turn it into a game for myself. And once it's a game, get out of my way.
Yeah.
So I think there are people that are very disciplined, and I'm in awe of them. And the fact is, if you're not, there is a way to still accomplish goals.
Absolutely. And that's the great thing about the technology that we have today. There are so many goal tracking apps and habit tracking apps that gamify the whole thing so that you get points. Like right now, I'm using this thing called MyFitnessPal.
Okay, yep. Familiar with it?
And so it's keeping track of how often I log my food diary. And so right now, today, I'm on day 34, and it says you have a 34-day streak going.
Nice.
So I'm not going to bust that streak.
No.
So it's midnight last night when I got into Toronto. I logged my food intake, even though I was tired because I didn't want to break my streak.
Nice. There's one of my goals for 215, which has been a wish, a dream, but never put down onto paper until 215, was I wanted to learn to become more fluent in French. So I have an understanding of French, being Canadian, that we all have some understanding. There is an app called Duolingo, and it turns every language into a game, and it gives you there's points you can get, and it's a free app too, and you could get like awards, and you can buy things with your awards for practicing daily.
That's fantastic.
Love it. So yeah, if I can find something that I can turn into a game for myself, I'm in.
Okay, I got to tell you one other one. I just got this last week. It's partly hardware, but it's called Muse, and it monitors your brain waves. And then you get feedback on your iPhone because it's connected with Bluetooth, and it gamifies the whole thing. So that if you can keep your mind calm for a certain amount of time, it gives you so many points. And then when you get so many points, it unlocks other aspects of the app.
Come on.
It's awesome.
Now, the key word that you said in there is keeping your mind calm. What do you do with the squirrels in your head? That's the problem.
Yeah.
The chattering monkeys that keep me up at night.
Well, for me, there's sometimes a committee in there.
That's right.
For me, I begin each day with just 15 minutes of quiet.
So do you do meditation?
I do, yeah.
Brilliant.
And this is not, I pray also, but I pray later.
Okay.
So this is just meditation.
Brilliant.
So I'm trying to quiet my mind. I'm not trying to think of anything.
Right.
And I'm constantly chasing my mind and reeling it back in. And I'm now going to use this new app and see how far I can get with that.
But don't you think so? For me, I'm sure that I'd be like, I'm meditating, I'm looking.
I know. Well, here's what,
how am I doing?
no, here's what happens though.
With
The
my
feedback from the app, it gives you the sound of a storm when your mind is not calm.
Oh, cool.
And then it quiets down, so you get immediate feedback. Your eyes are closed the whole time.
I think I got to look at that one.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to hold you up any longer because you've had a long day here. This has been fantastic. See, my dogs are telling us we've got to wrap up. So thank you so much,
Michael.
Michael.
Susan. Great to meet you.
I really appreciate you spending some time here with us. I'm on day 2. And it's amazing. For me, the bonuses. I started day 1, and then I went around the bonuses. The bonuses on that course are as good as the content.
Thank you. We put a lot of work into this.
That's amazing. So thank you. 5 days to your best year ever, guys. You're going to love it. Trust me, you're going to love it. And if you don't, Michael's got a net for you. But you know what? I haven't steered you wrong yet. So thank you again.
Awesome. Thank you.